What's going on? I'm gonna handle things kind of different this time. You know what I'm saying? So for those that are new to the channel, I welcome you. I do a lot of videos about Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I always talk about, how I had a bad experience there. You know what I'm saying? Being that I lived there for about 2.5 going on 3 years. You know what I'm saying? But in this particular video, in the very beginning of this video, I'm going to do something different, right? I'm going to tell you that it's nothing like Atlanta. Straight up. At least not on the East Coast. In the South, it's nothing like a city like Atlanta. You understand? Like, I'm telling you, you're going to be blown away. If you're driving, going down 85 South, and you pass under 400, the Highway 400, and as you're going down, getting closer to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Downtown area, that is. You look over to the right-hand side, you're like, oh, that's the downtown area. You know what I'm saying? That's downtown. This is for people that have never been there. You know what I'm saying? Or you're about to go down there for your first time. For the first time, excuse me. You look over to the right and you're like, oh, that's downtown. And no, it's not. That's actually Buckhead. For real. So Buckhead, their skyline is as big as some of you all's downtown area in your cities. So you're passing Buckhead, and then you're gonna go under the bridge, and you're gonna see the MARTA train go past, and you're like, oh, okay. And then it's this infamous or famous corner that you're gonna cut. It kind of, Highway 85 South kind of like curves a little bit. So you're gonna cut this corner, and when you cut that corner, you're gonna slowly but surely see Atlanta's downtown skyline, and you're gonna be like, wow, blown away. Straight up. Because I was. And then you're gonna see, black people driving all types of crazy Bentley cars and Lamborghinis, and you know what I'm saying, regular dudes, and driving on 2024s, Dubs, and all of that stuff with the old, classic cars, and it's gonna be seas of cars full of black people in them. And you're like, wow, man, this can't be true. You see, I know what you all are going to say. Some of you, non-blacks, you're going to be like, oh, here we go again. But you got to understand one thing. And I'm not trying to really make you understand it. But if you're looking at this video, you got to understand one thing. Black people are always looking for that promised land where they can be accepted. All black people want to, do in the so-called promised land is be black. Be themselves. They don't have to, in the promised land, you don't have to talk a certain way. You don't have to walk a certain way. You don't have to dress a certain way. You can just be who and what you are. That's all black people want in life. That's all black people strive to be, is just be themselves. Be comfortable in the skin that they're in. So you go downtown and you're walking around and you're like, wow, man, there's black people everywhere and people are having fun, and it just seems like it's this vibrant, beautiful city with full of black people, and you just want to be a part of it. And it's that energy, it's that vibe of, like, it's time to get it. It's time to be the best you that you can be. Straight up. And Atlanta downtown, and overall Atlanta, and the metro Atlanta is beautiful. Trees everywhere. And people don't even realize that, it's hills. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta and metro Atlanta, they have these hills. And that nobody tells you about. Hardly anybody ever mentions it, to be real with you. And I'm shocked. I'm taken back when people talk about Atlanta and they don't mention how many hills it is in the landscape of Atlanta. Overall, it's a city. I mean, it's nothing like it. Straight up. And then you go to Buckhead and you see, Lenox Mall and, high fashion stores and just that whole area. And you're like, wow, man, I can't believe this. I got to be here. For real. I gotta be here. Not knowing if you have a conscience, if you're a decent black person, if you care about your race, if you have morals and principles, you know what I'm saying? And you stand stern or strong on those morals and principles, you're going to have a problem when you get down there. And that's what happened to me. So, to answer your question, what is the main reason why you do not like Atlanta? You'll be surprised at my answers. Has nothing to do with racism, even though racism exists down there. Really not in Atlanta, but more so in Metro Atlanta, places like Marietta, Forsyth County, Alpharetta, and the list goes on. Not that. It's how black people are in Atlanta. When I tell you this, I truly mean it. I've lived in states like New York, North Carolina, and I stayed a little bit in Florida, Orlando to be specific. And out of all these states or cities that I've lived in, I've never met the most fakest, materialistic, shallow people, blacks that is, ever in my life. Straight up. So when I talk about Atlanta and how I don't like it, I'm not talking about the city itself, how it's structured and skyline and all the rest of that. I'm not talking about like how, well, it's dirty, it's this. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about black people, to be specific, because guess what? The majority of people that live in Atlanta are black. And we do realize that in a lot of cities where black people live at, I mean, let's be real, this is crime there. But not like the crime, not like the fakeness, not like the homelessness, not like a corrupt government that you see that is in Atlanta. That's facts. That's real talk, man. People that I met, everybody was just so money driven. And don't get it twisted, because I know what you're going to say in the comments, so let me clear it up. We all have to make money. We all have to make money in order to survive. At least in the United States of America, we all have to have a certain amount of fiat notes in order to pay our bills. You understand that? But in Atlanta, it's as if they go above and beyond. It's like if you don't have a certain amount of money, you just irrelevant to them. Straight up. And that's in all classes. Matter of fact, to be real with you, I've said this before in other videos that I've done about Atlanta, but to be real with you, racism may not exist in the city limits of Atlanta. Or should I say like the old heads, I'm saying, I say elders would say that reside in Atlanta that I talked to, for years when I was living in Atlanta. Racism doesn't exist inside 285. So 285 circles around Atlanta. Racism starts to exist outside of that. Once you get outside of 285. But it doesn't really exist inside 285. The thing that is far more worse than racism is classism. Straight up. And this is the reason why you have a whole lot of people that go down there And they act like they have more than what they normally do have. Because if you don't, if you got it, you got it. You ain't got to worry about it. But if you don't have it, and you let people know you don't have it, it ain't gonna have nothing to do with you. But if you act like you do have it, but you don't have it, somebody will fuck with you, to be real with you. It's just that plain and simple. I don't even want to call it crabs in a bucket. I don't even want to give that type of, you know what I'm saying, example. I just don't. I'll go as far as to say in Atlanta, it's not crabs in a bucket, sharks. Sharks in the ocean. And everybody's trying to be one. Ain't no minnows. Everybody is trying to rip each other apart in order to get that $1 bill. That plain and simple. And that's real talk, man. And people will lie, cheat, and steal that look just like you. People will set you up that look just like you. For no reason. Like some of the crimes and some of the things that happen to occur in Atlanta don't necessarily have to happen. They really don't. But it's that mentality that you have when you get down there that my loved ones saw in my eyes. Because even I got bit with that bug of, you know what? If you ain't got it, you know you're nobody to me. You see? You understand? Like, I even got caught up into that. I even got caught up in that. I had to have this, that, and so forth, and blah, 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 blah. Because I got to impress my family when they come down here to Atlanta. They got to see that I'm doing big things. And all for what? What's the generational wealth? And impressing people when you ain't really got it. How are you going to pass off impressing people to your children's children, in order that they can be able to reap some type of benefit off of your BS? That ain't generational wealth. That's what I call a generational fool. Trying to impress this person and that person, they ain't got shit. You know, I joked about people living on blow-up beds. You know what I'm saying? And black people, you know, like teaming up, 15, 16 black people teaming up, you know, to rent out a mansion, rather Airbnb, in order to have somewhere to live. But, you know, let them, you know, you hear from them, oh, yo, I got a mansion, this and that and so forth. And you go over there and you find out there's 15 black people living in one mansion. And they splitting the bill. And in all actuality, it's really an Airbnb. I've seen it with my own eyes to know how easy it is to do that. How easy it is to rent Lamborghinis, you know, all types of, you know what I'm saying, luxury cars. And drive around the city like you doing big things and ain't doing shit. Shall I go on with the perversion? Because it's not only the perversion of the mind, but it's the perversion of the body. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was invited to these particular type of parties. You know what I'm saying? The sexcapades, the orgies. But I've literally seen flyers. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be in crowd in order to be invited to certain type of parties like that. You know, men on a DL, that's nothing. Yo, seriously, that's my word. For those that have never lived in Atlanta, you'll never understand this. This is my word. That shit is accepted down there. That's my word. You heard it from me. I've lived there. It's accepted down there. Real talk. Real talk. And I have nothing against the LGBTQ community. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them reside in like places like Dunwoody, Buckhead. You'll see most of the LGBTQ community in Buckhead. You know what I'm saying? Have no problem with them at all, the community. You know what I'm saying? As a community, you know, but as, you know, individuals, you know, gay men that's down there, they're really aggressive. The climate is like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? A man will approach you if you a man. Real talk. Shall we go on? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the women. Most of the women down there got BBLs. Fake everything from head to toe. Nasty ass attitudes. You ain't got that bread, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Because that's what's up. Straight up. And then a lot of these women, you know, they IG models, you know, you go to their Instagram page and shit, and they got 50,000, you know what I'm saying, 300K, you know what I'm saying, followers or whatever. Next thing you know, you're like, hold up. You seeing pictures of them, different places. You like, yo, you taking pictures in the same. Oh, I know. I forgot the name of the studio, but they have a studio in Atlanta where you can take pictures. No, this is my word. They have it carved out like how can I put it? They have it carved out where you can take a picture and it look like you're on a jet. You could take a picture and it look like you're in this area, that area of the United States or this state or whatever have you, a whole big studio. And you're like, oh, I get it. See, these motherfuckers that don't live in Atlanta, they don't know nothing about this shit. So they thinking that you going these different places and you on a jet and you drinking wine and doing all the rest of this shit and not knowing that Atlanta has a studio that you can, I'm not lying, they actually have if you want to do a jail scene, they have an area in that studio where you can damn do a jail scene. And all what I'm saying overall, they fooling you. They making you believe that they living this type of lifestyle. In all actuality, they ain't living no damn lifestyle. They broke. They ain't got shit. They going out on dates for the purpose of eating that particular night. They sleeping on their friend's couch with $50 in their pocket. And 35 cents in the bank. This is what I didn't like about Atlanta. I could go on with this. I used to hear what Jazzy Faye and Sierra, all of them talk about College Park. You know what I'm saying? East Point. And I'm not saying I dreamed of the day, because I'm a New Yorker straight up. I'm just gonna keep it like that. I was born in New York. I ain't lived there all my life, but I'm a New Yorker at heart. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when they started talking about East Point, College Park, because there was a period in time, you know, where there was a transition. You know, New York rap, let's just be real, it fell off, and then Atlanta was coming up, and next thing you know, boom, Atlanta took over hip hop. So you hearing about these different areas in Atlanta, and you're like, yo, man, I wonder what it's like. I go down there, and College Park and East Point look like a third world country. No lie, I had to renew my lease, and I was looking for a house for my family and I to live. And I was like, you know what? I looked online. This is another thing too. They get you with this shit too. Straight up, for those that are thinking about moving to Atlanta, to get you with this shit too. So I'm going online and I'm looking at these different websites that, you know, have houses for sale and for rent. And I'm looking at these houses. I'm like, yo, man, the houses in College Park and East Point, man, they cheap and they look nice, but you're not seeing that they taking a picture from different angles. You get down there, you know what I'm saying, it's a community, and it's guys hanging out smoking weed and shit. You go to the house, it's all dilapidated and fucked up, and it's not like with the pictures look like it. Why? Because they took the picture at a certain angle and it was photoshopped. Atlanta's a big, great disappointment, man. It's a city that could have been. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. It is not. So, being that I've lived in Atlanta, now I have a different type of ear. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I hear people like T.I., 2 Chainz, or Ludacris, or this person talk about Atlanta and this specific street in this area, I'm like, man, if you don't stop the cap, stop capping! Straight up, man. Ponce de Leon is aight. It's a little strip. You know what I'm saying? They got a little hip-hop club that I went to. It's nice. You know what I'm saying? 90s music. But then you get tired of hearing that shit. For real. I was brought up in the 90s. And it's just, you got to be into it. You know what I'm saying? Because every generation of music is dated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now I want to hear some Drake or some other shit. You know what I'm saying? That's like current. They got Whole Foods down there, and then they got the market, you know what I'm saying, the whole Ponce de Leon market. That's nice, but right walking distance is the hood. So guess what the hood does? They go down in Ponce de Leon and they say, run your shit. In Whole Foods parking lot. But no lie, they got a nice park over there. They got the water sprouting out of the ground. You have cookouts over there and stuff like that. I used to take my children over there. You know what I'm saying? Like early part of the afternoon. All in that part that I'm talking about, they got like the new communities and, white people live over there. So they kind of keep it you know what I'm saying, decent. You still got hood people coming into that park. But for some odd reason, they take off their hood caps. You know what I'm saying? They act kind of like decent over there. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you, man, Atlanta is full of hood people. Full of degenerates. And they're coming from, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the Atlanteans. You got some hood people in the Atlanteans. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about, it's like a cesspool full of people, full of degenerates that came from other places, other cities and states, and they couldn't get away with all of that malarkey and bullshit that they get away with in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? In their hometown, so they had to come down to Atlanta in order to get away with that shit. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. So I've already made this shit too long. The video that is. If anyone, once again, were to ask me, what is the biggest thing that you don't like about Atlanta? And I didn't have any type of, I did talk to non-blacks, you know what I'm saying? When I went to the gym and stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you one thing about, and then I'm going to end this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you one thing about non-blacks, so Caucasians, Latinos, East Indians, East Indians, the Hindus and stuff like that. They all up in Alpharetta. You understand? I'm going to tell you, like, a lot of them were more reserved. They were like, not so much, they of course, racism, I ain't going to lie, racism. But I'm saying they were more reserved. And the reason why is because, man, on the news every day, you see someone looking like me with dreads. Straight up. My dreads was way more longer. They were like down my back when I was living in, because I cut them, you know what I'm saying, and regrew them. But they were down my back, you know what I'm saying? So dreads, people that had dreads, of course they grouped us all in. So they were kind of like, are you one of them that I see on the news every day that's causing chaos? That's being a menace to society? So they were kind of reserved, like, I don't know about you. You know what I'm saying? Because I see your face. I see your hair on the news every day. It's not one time out of the day that I don't see you on the news doing something positive. Straight up, like every day on the news. The news come on like what? Early in the morning, then at noon, and then at 11 o'clock. And almost every day you would see someone that looked like me with dreads, robbing somebody, shooting somebody, killing somebody. So I didn't really gauge with, non-blacks. because they were kind of reserved. Like, I don't know about you. I don't know about you. You know what I'm going to do? To protect me, I'm going to prejudge you. Or should I say, be prejudiced. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all do to a certain extent. Prejudge people. Based on stereotypes that may be projected, from the news, movies, right, overall media. But most of my interaction was with black people. And I can tell you that just about every black person that I met in Atlanta was very superficial. Straight up. And it was down for whatever. You know what I'm saying? If they had to step on your toes and step on your head in order to get to the top, they'll do it. So, hey, if you want to move down there, if you just want to be hard-headed and say, Langston, your nose too big. You're lying. You're Pinocchio. You're the black version of Pinocchio. I can see your nose growing as you're talking. You be my guest. Do what you do. Other than that, my name is Langston2092. I want you to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely share this video. Out.